Chrome, Chat, button. Twitch.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Chris. I'm also known as Lunatic Design. I'm going to be doing some drawing for you. Welcome to the my first scheduled stream. I've done a bunch of little streams here and there. This is the first time ever trying to do a schedule. Just checking the margins and area that I'm going to be drawing. But I hope you enjoy the stream. That you're having a good day. And I completely forgot to turn on the light. Hopefully that makes things a little easier for y'all to see. If nothing else, it does increase the contrast. I'm gonna go over some of the tools and things that I do, because I like to do this at the beginning of my videos. I use a Pilot Color Eno pencil. This is the soft blue, but I use the dark blue leads. The reason for that is because my scanner will drop out blue. So when I scan these in, it's going to drop out all these blue lines, all of my pencil marks, and I don't have to worry about wearing out my eraser, or dealing with damaging the paper or smudging ink when I erase. It just removes the step, so it makes it pretty quick. I still use an eraser, and this is just this is a Pentel. I got this from a local store, so it's just easy to use. As far as my pens and stuff, I have a couple of Sakura pens. I'm not going to be using the brush pen. I had a very bad experience with that one. It's too soft for me. I use a Micron 03 for most of my finer detail work. And for the most part, I use these Tombow Fudensuki. These are brush pens. This one is a hard pen. This one's a soft pen. This one's a hard pen. And I use them to create the various lines and things that I do. Along with these two, I also have my favorite pens, which are marked with the pink tape, because that's what I had available. And these are my kind of old and busted. These are my worn out pens that don't necessarily deliver a consistent line anymore. And I use them for all kinds of things, sometimes for shading, sometimes for doing little grungy details, but I really like using these a lot. But yeah, so got my card here. Let's see what I'm working on. I've done a bridge, an altar. I'm going to do a camp, a large boss map, and I kind of want to try to do like a bit of a forest of some sort. I'm doing caverns, so I'm going to try to do like very pale trees, maybe some luminous mushrooms, things like that, because I think that'd be a kind of an interesting environment. And if you don't know, I draw at half scale. I think this is half scale. It might actually be quarter scale, and I've been drawing at eighth scale. But this half-inch square is a full inch. So normally I can draw here, and that would be, a full inch when you blow it up. What drawing at this scale gives me smaller maps, which is fine with me. But it also gives me an easier way of drawing more precise details. All right, and so I'm going to do a bit of a camp. So that doesn't really need tents, because this isn't a cavern, so mostly some sleeping spaces, and frequently I'll have my players enter from top left. I have stuff going on here, so I'm going to put the camp down in here, and let's wall this in a little bit. I'm going to come below my knot here, just kind of give me just a general wavy cave wall line. And people generally set up and sleep in places that are safer and more easily defended. So I'm gonna have kind of its own little like inset cavern in here. Because I like to play with elevation, so there's a sort of a choke point here. There'll be a way of getting in and out easily. And I want to make this elevated. Bring this out here, and I want to break up this elevation here with some stony bits. I think that'll be cool. That's getting a little too tight. Let's open that up just a hair. So I do go back and erase a little bit here and there. I try not to do it a lot because it does damage the paper. It makes it harder to makes ink more likely to smudge. Open that up a little bit. I'll come in here, but I've never done this before, so let's try it on a map while I'm doing it live. That's that's the best time to experiment. Is when you've got people who are watching. This is going to be my cliff face. It's fine, I can overlap in there. And when I'm sketching, I come through and I add the reminder for debris underneath. So I know this is my top edge, and I'll come back here and darken it up a little bit. And this is my bottom edge. This is going to be kind of like a camp area in here, and I need an entryway. I'll put that over here. You don't really need an entryway. You can have them, they're nice. And what I have here is I have a straight visual line from where I'm going to have my players enter this encounter map to kind of the encounter itself, which is probably going to be mostly in this area. The defenses for the camp if they raid it, or if they sneak in. So I need something here to block that, to cut this off so that they can't immediately see everything. So I'm just going to put a light blocking layer like right here. Just a light blocking structure, come through. I don't need to get super detailed with the sketch, so my players can come in here, they can move around, this side and that side. Over here, let's add some more light blocking areas in here. Allow some crack, allow some stuff to kind of filter in through the cracks, so they can maybe sneak up. Through everything. But hopefully everything's not too loud. The music's not too bad. I do have. I am using Microsoft Narrator, which is an app that comes with everything, with the whole computer thing and stuff like that. And
volume level 30.
So y'all probably heard all that.
Exiting narrator.
Hopefully I managed to separate that out.
Starting heading level 1. Welcome to narrator. Chat, welcome to the chat room. Send a message, chat. Scan.
Hopefully none of that ended up in the footage. I'm going to find out when I go through and watch it later. But I'm so focused down here on the page that I can't really see when people ask questions. So hopefully the presence of the narrator in my ear will help me develop better streaming habits. And I want to go through. And there is a really important thing that I like to do with cliffs and stuff is I like to break my I like to break my pencil lead. I like to break over the edge of the bottom layer a little bit here and there. I'm gonna do another one right over here. Just have this one come out and just jut out just a little bit. It doesn't always have to go all the way out, but when I do my I come through here and just sketch in this line, and that's gonna get split right there. That'll be fine. That'll look good. And I like to, just kind of jet these out and break these lines up just a little bit here and there. It's not a map until I've broken at least one pencil lead. And let's bring this one out all the way. Over. Darken this edge up just a little bit. I don't have to worry about it showing up when I scan it because it's blue. So I can shade all this in. Like if I really start getting distracted with stuff, I can just kind of shade it in. There we go. I kind of like that. So they walk up this way. They can walk up this way. They can also go up the cliff face itself. So by using these elevation changes, I'm elongating my map, just like you might run into like at a queue for like a theme park, where it kind of zigzags and they cut back on each other. I'm starting to play too much. It's okay. All right, but I want something in here, something else, some fun in here. And I almost always like to have some kind of water. And if they're going to camp here, they're going to want to be kind of close to a freshwater source. So maybe there's just a bit of an underground lake right here. And because empty, featureless water is both empty and featureless, I'm going to add. It's going to be a light blocking layer in here. I might add a couple of those, like a couple little ones down here in the corners. My players want to try to sneak up this way through the water, they can. And now I have some elevations and some things like that. I want to have a landing up in here. A small light blocking layer. Let's cut this one in just a little bit. Let's create just a little bit of a landing. It's not going to be any and you kind of walk way up. It's just, you know, a little 5 foot tall, just a little bit of a elevation change in a cliff face. You know, put some indicators so that when I'm going back and inking this, I'll probably go back and ink this today. I'll probably do it here live on the stream. But yeah. So now I've got a general rough sketch of like where everything is. Let's start getting into details. Like my first major detail is going to be up in here, and so this is sort of like a pseudo camp. And I got to remember that this is that's a 5 foot square. And so I usually cut that like in half, and then there, and then that gives me about the size I use for tables. There's here, and you see I kind of like cut those in out a little too far. And to draw a table, draw chairs, I'm just doing a very light circle and just kind of underlapping it a little bit. And I don't think I do a great job with chairs, but you know they do look like chairs most of the time. And one of the things that I like that I think is kind of important with chairs is that you don't make them straight. You don't want them to be straight, and you add a little bit of a cant or an angle to them. And I think it makes them appear to be more believable. That one's all the way up underneath that one. I'll come through and just kind of darken this up just a little bit here and there. Just so when I go back and I ink, I know what I'm adding, where I'm adding lines. Right. So now we have a table. Oh, let's add some, you know, some details to it. A couple plates, maybe, you know, some utensils. Okay, now they've got a place to eat. Where do they prepare food? They probably do, but it's probably like just over a fire. Now, if I put a fire in here, then this whole cavern is gonna fill with smoke. So the fire is gonna be more towards the entrance exit, so it can the smoke can get pulled out. Whether or not that's actually realistic, maybe not. But I could just throw it anywhere because remember, this is fantasy. This world kind of belongs to you. You can make things up as you go. But if there's a place for food, there's also a place for storage. And most people don't like to walk very far from where they eat. So I'm going to throw some boxes and barrels. Put one over here, put a stack right here. There we go. And these are fancy people. They've got a bit of a shelf over here. Fireplace right in there. And same size I use for beds. Also, the same size I use for tables. I also use about for beds or sleeping areas. And I'm just gonna sort of like designate that these are, you know, sleeping areas. bit of a store. Ah, there we go. Popped
Group.
another one.
Welcome to the chat room. Corrector 320 hello, group, 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 Corrector 320, button, hello.
Okay, that's a little too much. Did all of that come through the chat? Because if it did, then yeah, I'm not going to be able to use the narrator. Which is okay. How's it going? And there's just kind of generally my my take on my fire pit. Let's see, maybe I've got some boxes out in here. Have a cluster of them out here. Go. It's very possible that the idea that I had for using the narrator to help me doesn't work. So if you heard him when you came in, let me know. Or if you hear him when you speak again, let me know. There we go. Some of that. Let's come here. This is kind of just... narrow this up just a little bit more. It's a narrow passageway out here. Just darkening up my here, and I don't want to leave this just like this smooth triangle, because when I did that I ran into some issues with it, so I'll come and jagged it up just a little bit. And I want to leave the edge in just a little bit and have some stuff.
Corrector 320 what you draw, group, 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 Corrector 320, button, what you draw.
Oh, I'm drawing a cavern. This is sort of a bandit camp. I'm sticking on the caverns that I'm doing. I've got a bridge, an altar. I'm gonna do a camp, a large arena for a boss, and I want to try to do an underground forest. I think that would be kind of neat. You know? All right, so we need some cover. Here. It is good to see you again, Patrick.
Awk_shello, smiley face, group, 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 Awk_s, button, hello, group, group, smiley face, image, Awk_s what's on the menu today, group, 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 exiting narrator.
Okay, that narrator is way too much for me. I don't know if y'all can hear it or not, but it's murdering me, just the whole group that it's popping me with every single time. Hi, how's it going? I'm doing caverns today. I don't have caverns in the current style of maps that I've been drawing, so I kind of want to work some up so that when I need a cavern map, I can just pull it up and add it to the game if necessary. Right now I'm doing a bit of a bandit camp, or a camp of some sort. I mean, this could be the camp that the players set up. Who knows? How the map gets interpreted in the moment is very very subjective. And I'm just kind of working up some details here. And that's way too regular of a shape, even for a little cliff. There we go. It's going to come in there. But welcome to the stream. Hopefully you have fun. Hopefully the music's not too loud. Everybody can hear me all right. I'm going to put a couple of small light blockers here. Here and there. And yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm kind of digging it so far. I've got a few different maps I want to try to do. Just trying to figure out what all to put in this one. We've got most of the structures in place I kind of want. Figuring out where light comes from. There's light over here. I think I might have some sort of like luminescent fungus over here. I think that'd be kind of neat. Just kind of a little indicator of that. Have some like down here under the cliff. That'd be nice. All right. So let's see where all this goes. So I'm going to grab my my soft brush pen, which I use these very cheap Tombows. And I like to start off with my my kind of like main light blocking layers. And since I have these kind of doorways that I've constructed, I don't want to lose them. I want to come in and kind of... I'm using fair pressure to kind of make the wall of that cavern. And I don't want to pull and draw smooth lines. I want kind of like jagged lines. So I'm just going to let my hand jerk a little bit as I draw. One of the easiest ways for that is I draw much more naturally pulling down towards myself. But when I want to create less straight lines, I try to draw away from myself a lot. See, I start smoothing up there, so I just change it and just draw to my weak direction. And I'm using this soft brush pen, so I'm using a lot of pressure. Little crevices and alcoves that I hadn't sketched in. Just kind of following just kind of a general rough estimation on where things are. All right, let's come in here and let's do the entryway. And personally, I don't need entryways when doing encounter maps because these aren't exploration maps. It doesn't matter to me as much how the players got into the environment, but what happens inside it. But I noticed that when I send them out without entryways, then some people are bothered by it a little bit. And I try to be as user friendly with the content that I help produce. And that's gonna overlap that box just a little bit. And it's absolutely okay to have your cavern walls overlapping the top of things because sometimes they slope in. So that's my main light blocking layer, which is kind of like the border of my map. I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna start doing a sort of like the internal obstacles, and I try to do the ones that block light and movement very dark. Makes them easily distinguished. Give you that little alcove in there. Boom. All right, and these are a couple of them. And I want to make sure I'm leaving enough player space for players to move back behind these things. These are like little, almost partial pillars and stuff. You know, something that if I put it in a VTT with ray tracing and stuff like that, I'll get some nice like rays of light coming out from there when my players try to use it as cover to sneak. All right, and this is going to be sort of a light blocking layer right here. Bit of one right there. Let's put another one like right up in there, just because I think it'll add some nice shadows and textures. So if my players try to sneak up through this way, they'll get some nice vision blocking in here, some in here. But if they come down the middle, they don't have as much, but they do have some scattered cover, so that they can move from point to point. Now I'm going to do some elevation changes, since I'm still working on making my light blocking layers. And with my elevation layers, I want to make sure that they're not joined up with like a light blocking layer. So there's a distinctive edge, because they're going to be very dark. I'm going to come down here and just do some stones. We always have a bit of rubble, and we just give kind of a little jerky line. I'm just using the tip of the brush pen at this point. And then I want to add, since I only have the top layer here, I'm going to add my hero lines. These are like little accent lines. And I will go back and shade that out in a moment. And you'll see how that starts coming together. So I'm going to come here, and this is tapered. So first thing I do is I'm going to come here, I'm going to start right about the edge of it. I'm going to go as light as possible. And then I'm going to start gradually increasing the detail. And I want to make sure that there are lots of jaggedness to this. So I have lots of space for cuts out cracks and shades. Oh, thank you. And now, bottom of the cliff, so there's going to be some rubble. They come through very thin lines. And just kind of. I want to make sure that they're closed. Ooh, I'm getting very dark there. Don't want to get that dark with it. All right, and this has an elevation change. So this elevation change is going to be a hero line. Boom. All right, and we're going to come down. Let's draw our hero lines. What these hero lines are, these are just dark indicators of where like major outcroppings are, major texture changes. Since that one's here, come here. Right? We do the same thing with the bottom. Now from the bottom, I have two different lines I can draw from, and I like to draw from the bottom for the bottom, you know, case of breeze. And there we go. There's two different elevation changes. The cliff edge here is the bottom. If it has the rubble, it's always the bottom. If it's dark and bold, it's always the top for me. Yes, that was the cliff edge I'm drawing. So what's this? I call them hero when I'm doing these bold details. I call them hero lines. They make things look very bold and dramatic. And when I go back and I start shading these cliffs, you'll see how they kind of contribute to all of that. But I got one more elevation change to do, and it starts over here. So nice, very soft. And this is why I like brush pens as opposed to straight, just normal felts. That's a little too. And there gives me that's my top line. And now I'm going to come down here, and I've got a lot of rocks in here, so I'm going to do these. These are visible. Oh, this one's going to overlap here just a little bit. And the reason why I make my maps like I do, with these they're almost really defined rules, and the reason is it makes them easy for me to read and explain to my players on the fly, so I don't have to make a lot of notes with them. It also makes it easier for my players to say, okay, well, I know that's a puddle of water because that's how Chris always draws water. So that consistency will help you in the long run. All right, let's come here and kind of edge up the bottom of this. Kind of. I'll come here. There we go. All right, we're gonna come. Then we're gonna hero this up a little bit. Just kind of these bigger points out. We come from the bottom. Just kind of add one in there. That looks like I got this one. I like that one. And these edges don't always have to connect top to bottom. You can fill them in halfway stuff. But they kind of add a texture. What was the last movie that I watched, and did I kind of like it? The last movie I watched The Crow with some friends of mine for Halloween. They were picking up a bunch of Halloween movies. And I love that movie. Brandon Lee, I think he would have been just a fantastic, just all-star actor. But unfortunately, he was killed during the shooting of that movie. There we go. There's my boxes and my barrels. Those are a little too lined up, but it's okay. Whoever set those up was a little focused on being detail oriented. These are my stalagmites. A couple big ones over here. Big one's gonna get some rocks at the bottom of them. Get a little bit more detail along them. So one of the things that I try to do when I'm drawing these maps is I try to remove straight lines as much as I can from, especially from the natural maps that I draw. I don't get a lot of straight lines in nature. And here I'm using more vertical pressure on my pen. It needs to be a little darker there. There we go. Give myself a nice kind of inconsistently thick line. Add some rubble in with my rubble. All right, I'm gonna pause here for just a moment with my progression. I'm gonna go back, and I normally do all this at once when I'm drawing it on my own, but had some questions about cliffs, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish my cliff faces up and show you what I mean by hero details and stuff like that. When I do cliffs, one of the things that I learned not to do is I don't pay attention to the angle of light at all, because that'll drive me insane. And I shade on the right-hand side. There we go. And this is why I don't consider myself to be much of an artist, because there are artists that they pay attention to shading and depth and color and stuff like that, and I think those are really awesome things. And it looks like there's a right-hand side through there. I'll throw some shading in there. And I'm looking for anything that might look like it has a shadow on the right-hand side of it. I do 2 or 3 lines. Just kind of shadowing it up just a little bit. And now hopefully you can see how those first lines that I made with the softer pen, how they pop out just a little bit more. And that's why I refer to them as hero lines. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to hero line this up, because this is a rock. It's kind of sitting on top of everything. See how majestic and heroic that makes it look? Add some shading. And you literally don't have to have any rhyme or reason to the way you shade. At least for me, not with maps, as long as it's kind of consistent looking. I mean, it's probably the worst thing I've ever said to anybody when trying to explain how to draw things. But for me, it's very true. I mean, I don't worry about that kind of detail when I'm doing my maps. And there are cartographers out there that do. They pay attention to all of these awesome details. I'll darken that up and make that a hero line. And I think these people are just simply better map makers than I am, and that's okay. Well, add a little bit of shading lines in here, and these are light blocking layers, so let's go ahead and give that indication. I'm having so much fun with the shading. It's time to do some cross hatching. When I first started doing cross hatching, I had so much trouble with it. Thank you, Ayuk. And I've tried so many different ways of doing cliff faces. It took so long to find this one. some cross hatching, and I do a lot of cross hatching. I'm going to go back and do a lot more. And one of the things that I do with cross hatching is I'm not consistent with it. No, when I was in the middle of kind of telling a story, when I first started doing cross hatching, it was such an annoying thing to me. It took so long, and it was such a pain to work with it. For a while, I stopped doing it, and I feel that it kind of decreased the quality of the look of the maps that I had. It gave them a less finished and polished quality to them. And then I was thinking about why I didn't like cross hatching, and that was because it was taking so long. Because I was trying to make everything very nice and straight and perfect, and just kind of like wonderfully even. And I had the idea that that's kind of defeating the purpose of what it is that I'm doing. The whole purpose of cross hatching is, for me, is to fill up a lot of space quickly. And yes, it's from Dyson, from Dyson Logos, an amazing map maker. All right, I'm gonna have to pause here for a moment because my cat is demanding food. So I'm going to just kind of be back in just a moment. All right. All right, and I'm back. She will be squawking at me again in a few minutes to go back outside. I would like her to remain an indoor kitty, but she's old and grouchy and does whatever the heck she wants to do. And so I'm doing it here is, again, hero lines. Add detail. To things. And I might come in and, do a couple of these rocks. I don't want to do all of them, but some of them have little lines too. of the bigger, more interesting ones. All right. All right. So when I was doing barrels, I used to do an inner ring like I was doing here with these wood crates, and I never could get it to match up. And it looked okay. It was kind of nice, but you know what? That looks okay to me too. I'm gonna come through here and more cross hatching. I do a lot of cross hatching in my maps. Patrick will tell you. I have not yet begun to cross hatch. And I find that it kind of gives a very nice, like, finished feel to the edges of my maps. Makes edges distinctive. I use it for elevate to signify differences in elevation. I'll show you how I do that here in a little bit once I get to that step. I don't want to skip too far ahead of my process. And when you draw maps, I recommend have like a bit of a process to the way that you make them, so that you're not just slapdashing. How do I start drawing, or how did I start drawing? How I started drawing maps was, well, in about the mid '80s, my brother got it was a red box for Dungeons and Dragons, and it was right there in kind of like the beginning of the Satanic Panic, and I'm fairly certain that the reason why my brother got that box was because of the Satanic Panic, not because my parents were Satanists, but because I'm fairly certain. I remember going to a PTA meeting where somebody was talking about the evils of Dungeons and Dragons and how they would never let their kids do such a thing or play such a game, and how it was evil. And then my mom went out and bought one immediately, because I could totally see my mom doing something like that. She was a very much a, you're going to tell me that I can't do this? Well, I'm going to do it just because you said that I can't. Just a very wonderful person. I miss her a lot. And let's come in here. There we go. We have some stuff going on. Remember, top edges are darker, bottom edges. And I'm going to take a break for a moment before my cat starts yowling really loud. Oh, maybe she won't. Nope, there she goes. So pardon me for just a moment. I will be right back as I let my cat out. Yes. So my mom got my brother this red box. Yo, she's very loud. She will get louder if I don't let her out, and eventually she'll come over and she'll actually take a couple swipes at me. She's almost 20, so she will get what she wants, and she really doesn't care about the consequences. But she's an old kitty. I would say that she's a sweetheart, but she's really not. Due to her, I do know that cats can actually have bipolar disorder. Because she's very bipolar. Hey. And there's my other cat, Spooky, who is anxiety-ridden and wants my wife to come home from work and pet him. But that's not going to be able to happen just yet. So, just add little things. To everything. Yeah, she's been, Puddin has been with us forever. And that's supposed to be a bag there, but I don't like that. So this is going to turn into kind of a, like a backpack kind of thing. There we go. Sleeping bags. But back in the day, my mom got my brother a copy of the Dungeons and Dragons. We got the basic system, and then we got the Green box, the I guess it's the expert, and then into Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. So actually, my first DM, and I was one of those. I was one of those players. I was awful. He's called Spooky because he's afraid of everything. They originally, my wife named him Rascal, and his brother was named Panther. But they didn't respond to any of those names. So I started calling Panther Derp because he had a lazy eye, and we do think he was brain damaged. He was a very special kitty. Spooky, on the other hand, was afraid of everything. So I started calling Panther Derp because he just a very, very special kitty like that. And alright, so we're gonna come in here and just kind of give it a little indication that there's some shapes. there's a chest, and some detail in here to this one. Make these the same. But the way my wife kind of loves and trains cats, she kind of causes Stockholm syndrome in them. She will chase them around the house, shouting, "You will love me," and believe it or not, it's actually highly effective. Add some detail lines here and there, shading. Girl. A couple different boxes. And so Spooky is very affectionate, but also very, very needy when my wife isn't around. Yeah, that'll do for now. So let's go ahead and do the outside edge. And yeah. Add some shading to it here and there and yonder. And I have seen a couple. Oof, I didn't like that so much. Let's go and break that one up just a little bit. There we go. And I have seen people who do this like sparse point shading on the cross hatching, and it's kind of neat. But it's I kind of like having this just kind of like ring. And when I first started doing it, like I'd come out like really far with it and do like a couple of layers, and sometimes I would try to fill up the whole page with it, and that never really looked right to me because I'm obviously not Dyson, who's an actual illustrator and an artist, and me, I'm just a weird dude with pens. So I always had the hardest time making that feel good or right. So now I really just come in and I do like one layer of cross hatching around the edge. And I find that that's really all that I need to give my maps the look and feel that I like out of them. Sometimes I'll add a little something in there. And I don't worry about the presence or lack of consistency when it comes to cross-hatching. I just try to, get it done. And then, I come back and add little stones and shapes back in here just so it's not entirely just open space. And you could, fill this whole area up. Oh, I'm getting a little out of it, getting too far away from myself. And the thing that I haven't done yet that I need to do now while I'm thinking about it, because I like this effect down here, and I didn't do it when I sketched it, and I always forget. And I like to sketch it in, that way it looks a little better when I ink it. Put my name down there. I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna draw it, and this way it kind of just kind of more naturally blends into the crosshatching. I do all these bottom edges first. And I'm gonna come in and like that. I've named it and claimed it.